Heather with Makeup by Heather B. Okay, so I'm so excited to show you this video. So many of you have asked me to show the steps that I do my face makeup in. So I'm really excited to share that with you. First of all, you'll notice that my eyes are already done. So make sure you click on the link below to subscribe to my channel, and you can kind of check out this video that we already did on kind of a bronzy, natural, kind of smoky eye. So let's get started with my face makeup. So you'll notice that I'm baring it all for you to see, which you should feel very special because I really go nowhere without makeup on. It's kind of just a thing. So you guys are super, super special. As you can kind of see, I have a little bit of acne scarring from those wonderful years of high school and picking and all that good stuff and junk food and whatever. So I'm going to kind of show you how to cover that up, but also how to not have a full cake face of foundation on. So let's get started. First thing, I've already put on my moisturizer. Typically, I will do that when I get out of the shower when my skin is nice and wet because it will help absorb into the skin a little bit better when you have a little bit of water on the skin. So that's already done. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my foundation primer on. This stuff is the bomb. It's by Makeup Forever. They have a bunch of different ones. This one's just their high definition primer. It's just kind of like a light white. And I'm just going to use my fingers and I just blend this on all over the entire face. Now, if you're someone that has a lot of red in your skin, rosacea, anything like that, they also make a green primer that's really nice. I know it seems weird to put green on your skin, but it really helps tone down the redness, which a lot of people in Colorado, where I am, have red in their skin because it's so dry. So that's a great option for as well, too. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of let that dry for just a second, and we're gonna move on to face makeup. Okay, if you have not tried this, this is like the best stuff ever. Most of the time when I'm working on a shoot or a wedding or whoever it may be and I use this, they're like, what are you doing? Spraying hairspray on a brush and then putting it on your face. This is actually a spray foundation by Dior. I have tried so many different foundations and this one is my absolute by far favorite. And I'm gonna show you why. So it's a spray, like I said. Now, a lot of my clients, when I would sell this to them, they would just spray it directly on the face and they're like, it runs out so fast, it gets messy. So don't do that. Just because it's a spray doesn't mean that you necessarily need to spray it directly on the face. So I'm gonna use the MAC Kabuki brush. Just something short and kind of firm will kind of give you the best coverage for this. Dior sells one that's a little bit more expensive and I just like the MAC one because it's not as expensive and it works just as well. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna shake it. And then I just do a quick spray on my brush and then I'm just gonna go on and buff it onto my skin. Now, a lot of women need coverage throughout the cheek area right here. That's usually where we're a little bit more red or where we do have acne scarring. So typically I like to start in those areas and work my way out. Now, the great thing about this product is you just continue to add its buildable coverage. So you could do just a little bit and be fine, and it's very light, or you can really add more and more to get more of a full coverage. So I'm gonna keep going. Most of my clients will ask, you know, oh, do you do airbrush makeup? And the thing that I wish the world knew about airbrush makeup is that it's not necessarily that it's the worst thing, but unless you're really good at airbrush, it's hard to get it to look even in photos. It can be kind of messy. For me as a professional, it's a pain to take my machine, clean it out, mix the colors. So I use this instead and I love it. I find that a lot of my clients want that airbrush look and not necessarily an airbrush makeup, but this is kind of like a good happy medium. Okay, so I'm gonna add just a little bit more because I like a good bit of coverage because, you know, we makeup artists pack it on, we love it. A lot of people when they do foundation are afraid of that line that like your grandma used to have of like that orange, like you can see where her foundation and her skin is. So it's something you can do because really it's hard to get foundation to match your skin exactly your skin tone. So there will always be that line depending on how you put your foundation on. So one thing I like to do is just take my foundation brush and buff it down my neck like that so that you don't have a line. Okay, so we're gonna stop going crazy with the foundation, even though I could keep going more. Next, I'm gonna do my concealer. Now, the reason why I do concealer after foundation is because most women think, oh, I need to conceal, 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 and then put my foundation on and then conceal some more. And then by the time you're done, you have 5 million layers of makeup on. So to prevent that, make your foundation do the work first and see how much it can actually cover. Next, go back with a little bit of concealer and let that kind of be your, you know, your go-to for more coverage. So I'm going to use Amazing concealer. This one I got at Ulta. It's by Amazing Cosmetics. I'm just going to put a little bit of this on the back of my hand. Now this is significantly a little bit lighter than my skin because I want to really highlight underneath of the eye area. So you only need a tiny, tiny bit of this stuff or else it gets way too heavy. So a little bit goes a long way. Just for the sake of time and for the length of this video, I didn't want to do this step, but you can also, if you're someone who gets creasing underneath of the eye area, this product by Smashbox is just their Photo Finish Hydrating Under Eye Primer. That is a great product to put underneath of the eyes first. And what that does is it basically just keeps your concealer from settling into the creases. And it's just a great little like eye cream to kind of add on. A little bit brightening as well too. So I'm just kind of dabbing this all underneath of my eye area. And you can see I'm kind of even bringing it down just a little bit more so that it's nice and brightening. If you're someone who's really dark in the corner here, you can apply it there as well. Just like that. So you can kind of see the difference. It's a little bit brighter. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Just kind of dab it on there. You can make all those weird faces, you know, that we do. Okay. So you want to make sure that you just get it nice and blended. And I will just kind of take my finger, switch fingers if you have too much on it, so that way you're not just applying product everywhere. Now I also want to highlight throughout my face just a little bit. So I'll take a little bit of my concealer, maybe kind of rub a little bit on the center of my forehead, down the center of my nose, and then of course over the top area of the lips. And that will just help to make my skin look highlighted, but then also to make the lip area look a little bit bigger. You want to just make sure it's nice and blended. So once you're done kind of applying it, you don't have to do this step, but I love using this double-sided brush by MAC. It's the 128. I just take this and just kind of go over everything that we just did, and that just kind of makes sure that you don't have any lines and that everything is nice and blended. Nice and bright. This is a good trick for moms. This concealer is awesome because if you have a new baby and you're not sleeping, it literally looks like you got 8 hours of sleep and you really didn't get any. So it's perfect. Okay, so moving on, once your concealer's on, the next thing I'm going to do is apply a little bit of bronzer. So I love Laguna by NARS because it is not orange at all. If you read a lot of different fashion magazines, makeup magazines, this is always rated as one of the best bronzers out there. It's got a nice golden color to it, but not orange. So unless you're going for that, like, you know, sat in the tanning bed for 20 hours look, this is a good option. I'm just going to use a big fluffy brush by MAC. This is the 150 brush. I use a fluffy brush because you don't want to put all of your bronzer in one spot. I always tap off too in case you have extra product on your brush. Okay, so I'm going to go on the outer parts of the face. And this is just going to kind of give me a little bit of color, kind of warm up my skin. Sometimes I put my bronzer on all over. Sometimes I put it on parts of the face where if you were to go outside and come back in, wherever you would kind of have that little bit of a suntan, that's where you want to put your bronzer. Or if you feel like it, you can just put it all over your face. Doesn't really matter. Ooh, I'm throwing things. Now that I am a bronze goddess in the dead of winter, the next thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of blush. So this is my absolute favorite brush for blush. Say that 5 times fast. This, I don't know what it's called. It's by NARS, but it's just their funky looking brush. It's very soft, so it doesn't put all the color in one spot. And I'm going to use, if you haven't used NARS blushes, they're amazing. This one is one, it's called Boys Don't Cry. It was a limited one, and it's one of my favorites. So sorry they don't make it anymore, but go to the NARS counter, check out their blushes. They're amazing. So I'm going to just grab my product on my brush. This you can also tap off, make sure you don't have too much on there. And then I just kind of start at the apples of the cheeks and brush back and in a circle. And what that does when you brush back and in a circle, instead of just doing one of these real fast, it just makes it so that you don't have that really harsh line, again, like maybe your grandma would have had. Okay, so same thing on this side. I'm gonna just lightly go brush back towards the hairline and in a circle. I'm a blush girl, I like a lot of blush, so sorry, I'm gonna put a lot on. And there's your blush. Sometimes I like to mix my blushes too. So I'm gonna just do this for fun. This one's by MAC, it's called Dainty. It's their mineralized blush, so it has a little bit of like a shimmer to it, which I love shimmer. Shimmer makes everything better. So I'm gonna just take same brush and just put a little bit of this on top. Okay, once that step is done, I'm just gonna do a little bit of contouring. Now, everyone is like crazy over contouring right now, so don't worry, we will do a video on contouring and highlighting separately. But for now, I'm just gonna do a quick, show you how I quickly contour when I'm, doing an everyday look and I don't wanna spend a lot of time on it. This one is another NARS brush. I have no idea what it's called, but this is what it looks like. So when you go shopping, you can get this one. It's actually a powder blush by MAC called Blunt. You could use any bronzer, really anything that you have that's a little bit darker and a little bit cooler tone works. So I just get my product on there, tap off again. You can make a funny face if you want and do that. I just kind of mark where my ear is, the middle of my ear, and kind of go down. I'll kind of go right around my forehead, around the hairline. If you want to keep yourself from having a double chin, you can always kind of contour your jawline so it's nice and pronounced. Then once you have all your product on there, I'm not doing a really harsh one today because I want it to be pretty soft and just easy. You can always take your brush, blend, 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 really easily. Okay, so that's all the fuss I'm gonna do with that. Okay, so my next step once I'm done that is I like to have that little bit of a J-Lo glow. Who doesn't, right? She's like absolutely amazing, she's beautiful. So to get that, there's all kinds of different highlighters. You can do powder, stick highlighters, cream highlighters, liquid highlighters. This one, as you can tell, like I love a lot of NARS products for my skin because that's what I'm using a lot of. This one's by NARS. It's called Orgasm. They have really inappropriate names, but their stuff is awesome. So I'm gonna just put a little bit of this on the back of my hand. One of these will last you for years because you only need a little bit. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this, that double-sided brush we used earlier just to blend all of our makeup together. The 128 by MAC is what I'm gonna apply this with. You could also use your fingers, whatever you want. And I'm just gonna get a little bit of the product on the back of the brush here. And I'm gonna just apply it kind of in like a C shape around my eye area and over top of my blush. And this just gives your skin a really soft glow. Healthy skin is glowing skin, and so that's what I want. Especially in Colorado when it's so dry, or in your drier climates. This is a great product to have. You can also mix this in your moisturizer, put it all over the body for a nice glow. You can also mix it in your foundation, but just don't use too much or else you'll be like a shimmer bug and it'll be really distracting. So the other places I put this, same where I did my concealer, down the center of my nose, a little bit on the forehead, around the lip area. And then if I have a little left over, I'll just kind of put a little bit over my blush. I kind of just put it like wherever I feel like is good that day. So that you can kind of see in the light, just gives a nice highlight and a nice sheen to the skin, okay? So once that's done, the only other thing, like just another quick tip for you guys, is if you're someone who has a hard time wearing concealer or even mascara or eyeliner underneath because it always bleeds throughout the day, or if your concealer does crease, any translucent powder that you have, so translucent powder is kind of like a white powder like this. It's just very clear, no color really comes off. This is just a great kind of thing to do at the end of your makeup to keep it from doing that. So I just get my brush and apply a little bit of this underneath of the eye area. That will help your eyeliner and your mascara from transferring down underneath. Plus any translucent powder that you use is going to be have optical diffusers in it so that when the light hits it, it kind of blurs out any imperfections in the skin and makes it look perfect. This one's by NARS. I've used the MAC one, Laura Mercier one. They're all pretty much the same. So really any brand you get is great. All right, so we're gonna finish off this look with a very refreshing spritz of one of my favorite makeup setting sprays. People, whenever I use this, are like, are you putting, like, is that like hairspray for the face? Like shellac for the face? I'm like, yes, it is. This one's my absolute favorite. This is the all-nighter spray. So this is just a spray. I feel like it hydrates, it smells good, it's very refreshing, but it just kind of, I think pulls your makeup into your skin so it looks more natural, but then it also helps it to stay on. So let me show you how you use it. Spray off to the side first in case it gets clogged. You don't want to like spray it directly on your face and have a splotch of liquids ruining your pretty face makeup. So I always hold it at arm's length, kind of like this. And it's very refreshing. So that is pretty much it. So now that you know my little skin routine, you don't have to do every single step. It is a lot of steps, but that's kind of how I do it. You can kind of take and add what you want. So thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe.